His new movie, How to Train Your Dragon, is in theaters and IMAX everywhere this Friday. Give it up for Gerard Butler!
Gerard Butler is known for his 300 film roles, which made him a famous actor. But behind the famous line, "This is Sparta," lies a harsh reality he has kept secret until now. He faced hospital visits, tendon injuries, a serious car crash, addiction, and losing everything in a fire. This isn't just a story about a Hollywood star, it's the story of a man who fought to survive. In 2025, Gerard Butler spoke about making 300. He said, "Everybody was taken to the hospital every day. The film earned $450 million, but behind the scenes, there was chaos. Actors faced serious injuries, and Butler himself nearly didn't survive the filming. For 18 years, he kept quiet about the dangerous situation on the set, but now he reveals the truth about one of Hollywood's most unsafe movie productions." Gerard Butler was born in Paisley, Scotland, on November 13, 1969. When he was 6 months old, his family moved to Montreal, Canada, but they only stayed for 18 months. After his parents separated, his mother, Margaret, took Gerard and his siblings back to Scotland. For 14 years, Gerard did not know if his father was alive. That changed when he was 16. His stepfather told him to keep his jacket on one day because his father was there. Gerard, who rarely cried, broke down for 5 hours. This moment allowed him to spend summers with his father and even take a trip to Jamaica with him. In school, Gerard stood out. He was smart, well-liked, and driven. At St. Mary's and St. Margaret's High School, he became head boy, the top student role. He then went to the University of Glasgow to study law, one of the best law schools in the UK. While studying, he also became the Law Society president, even though he later admitted he had persuaded people to get the role. He was confident and charming. Everyone thought he would be a successful lawyer. However, Gerard had a secret. While his classmates studied, he sang in a rock band called Speed at Night. He had no formal training but sang passionately. By day, he studied law. He performed on stage at night, chasing a thrill that learning couldn't provide. He didn't realize it yet, but these performances showed that his true passion was acting. Everything changed when he was 27. He had been a trainee lawyer for a firm in Edinburgh. 1 week before qualifying, he went to the Edinburgh Festival and drank too much. The law firm fired him immediately, taking away everything he had worked for. That painful experience might have saved his life. Gerard later said that if he had continued in law, he might not have survived due to his drinking habits. After being fired, he quit drinking and moved to London. In London, reality hit him hard. He took any job he could find, waiting tables, dealing with rude customers, and working in telemarketing. One of his strangest jobs was selling toys at market stalls, showing kids how to use them to encourage their parents to buy. He struggled to survive, from nearly finishing law school to juggling odd jobs. It was challenging and discouraging, but he pushed through. Each job felt like a dead end, but it also strengthened him. Then something unexpected happened. He reconnected with someone from the Scottish Youth Theatre. She was now a casting director, and they began dating. She offered him a job as her assistant. This allowed him to sit in on auditions, helping others while still trying to become an actor. He was close to his dream, but not quite there. Whenever he handed out a script or scheduled a meeting, he thought, "That could be me." Eventually, it became him. One day, she took him to audition for a Shakespeare play called Coriolanus, directed by Steven Berkoff. Some say she arranged it, others say Butler begged Berkoff for a chance to read. Regardless, he gave it his all. Berkoff saw his energy and cast him on the spot. Depending on the version of the story, he either joined the ensemble or landed the lead role. Both versions agree on one thing: this was a life-changing moment. He went from handing out scripts to starring in a production. At 27, it was his first real acting job. When he walked home after getting the part, he felt like it was the happiest moment of his life, as if something inside him clicked into place. In 1997, he secured a minor role in the film Mrs. Brown. It was initially intended to be a low-profile BBC television production, but then Miramax acquired it and distributed it worldwide. The film ultimately grossed $13.2 million and propelled Judi Dench into awards recognition. Butler had a small part, but the movie allowed him to attend the Cannes Film Festival. It marked his first exposure to global fame. That same year, Butler appeared briefly in Tomorrow Never Dies. He was only on screen for a fraction of a second, portraying a crew member without any dialogue. Nevertheless, that moment was significant. The Bond film became a blockbuster hit, earning $339 million, making it the fourth highest grossing movie of 1997. It premiered on the same day as Titanic, which meant it missed the top box office position. Regardless, being on that set provided Butler with an insider's view of the making of big-budget films. He absorbed everything he could, even if he was still an unknown. His first substantial lead role came in Dracula 2000. It seemed like a significant opportunity. With a budget of $54 million and high expectations, the film failed at the box office. It brought in only $47 million and didn't recoup its costs. Butler made an impression, though. Despite wearing vampire makeup, his Scottish accent came through. Instead of detracting from the role, it gave Dracula a unique touch, more gritty and authentic. He had physically transformed himself for the role, showcasing his ability to adapt, a skill that would become his hallmark in later action films. Shortly after, he appeared in the miniseries Attila. Spanning nearly 3 hours allowed Butler to demonstrate his range beyond horror or physical roles. He portrayed a legendary warrior in dramatic combat sequences. This project proved to Hollywood that he was capable of handling larger roles. Everything shifted for him when he turned 30. That's when he made the move to Los Angeles. Having been born on November 13, 1969, he took the plunge in late 1999 with no projects lined up, no savings, and no safety net. In London, he had juggled jobs waiting tables, working in call centers, and even showcasing toys at fairs. He later confessed that initially his goal was to gain fame, but he arrived at just the right moment. Hollywood was searching for strong, dramatic actors who didn't fit the mold of typical movie stars. Butler was the perfect fit. Within a year of relocating, he secured 4 significant roles. He appeared in Dracula 2000, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, Dear Frankie, and The Phantom of the Opera. His ascent was rapid for someone previously involved only in theater. Although Dracula 2000 didn't perform well at the box office, it proved to studios that Butler had leading man potential, and that was all they needed to see. While shooting Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, in 2003, Gerard Butler experienced a moment that could have ended badly. He was upside down practicing an action scene when he had to fire a prop gun. The issue was that he lacked control over the direction in which the gun was aimed. He fired it blindly. One of the bullets just barely missed Angelina Jolie's face. Years later, he reflected on how the situation could have gone wrong. He described it as insane. Even with strict safety protocols on set, things can still go awry. That incident served as a reminder of how perilous movie sets can be, especially following recent incidents involving prop guns. Gerard Butler took a significant risk a year later by playing the Phantom in The Phantom of the Opera. He wasn't the first choice for the role. The studio originally wanted Hugh Jackman, but he was unavailable. Director Joel Schumacher remembered Butler from Dracula 2000 and saw his potential. Although Butler was not a trained singer, he impressed everyone with his performance of The Music of the Night. Even Andrew Lloyd Webber praised him. The film made over $154 million and earned several nominations. Critics rated it 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, while audiences gave it 84%. In 2004, Butler showed his acting range in Dear Frankie. In this touching Scottish film, he played a stranger pretending to be a deaf child's father. This role focused on emotional connections rather than action. His performance won him the Capri Breakout Actor Award, and the film received a 7.7 rating on IMDb from more than 23,000 votes. Gerard Butler became famous gradually. In 2000, he took on 2 critical roles that helped his career. One was in Attila, a miniseries where he played Attila the Hun. The producers initially wanted a more well-known actor, but kept returning to Butler. The other role was in Dracula 2000, where he competed hard for the lead part. Before that, he had more minor but significant roles, like in Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997. While filming, Mrs. Brown saved a young boy from drowning and received a bravery certificate from the Royal Humane Society. Over time, he built a good reputation. By 2005, fans were sharing his clips and interviews online. Then a key moment came. In 300, Gerard Butler doesn't just act as King Leonidas, he becomes the character. Filming took just 60 days at Montreal's Ice Storm Studios, mostly using blue screens rather than real locations. Only one scene with horses was shot outside, while everything else, like walls and armies, was added later. Using blue screens made the red capes of the Spartans stand out. Of 1,523 shots, more than 130 needed visual effects, totaling 8,631 pieces created by 10 companies over a year. The movie was filmed sequentially, which is unusual and didn't provide much advantage. The actors felt disconnected because they only had a blue backdrop to work with. Gerard Butler mentioned that this made it hard to respond naturally. To help, Tim Connolly was brought in as Gerard's stunt double and trainer for risky scenes. He also helped develop Butler's character and played Leonidas' father in a flashback, adding depth to the story. Butler injured his tendon during filming and experienced foot drop, making Connolly even more critical. Director Zack Snyder gave Leonidas a black plume on his helmet. This helped audiences identify him during the chaotic battle scenes and made editing easier, given the digitally created army. You can now find replicas of this helmet online, marking a piece of cinematic history. Butler underwent intense training to become King Leonidas, designed by mountain climber Mark Twight. The training focused on real-life challenges instead of traditional Hollywood methods. After 4 demanding months, only 17 of the cast members passed the final test. Twight oversaw every detail, aiming to create trust among the cast that would show on screen. The 300 workout was a tough test that included 25 pull-ups, 50 deadlifts with 135 pounds, 50 push-ups, 50 box jumps onto a 2-foot platform, 50 floor wipers, 50 clean and presses with a 36-pound kettlebell, and finished with another 25 pull-ups. Participants did this without much rest and completed it in 15 to 45 minutes for 300 repetitions. It was a one-time challenge to gauge fitness due to the high volume of exercises. Instead of repeating the routine, Twight changed the daily workouts to keep the actors challenged. This included flipping tires and heavy kettlebell lifts. The unpredictability added mental pressure to the physical demands. Gerard Butler described it as the most challenging experience of his life. He often felt nauseous afterward, but felt changed when he wore the Spartan gear. The actors' weights varied greatly, creating competition, even getting Snyder involved in the demanding morning training. In a January 2025 interview for Den of Thieves 2, Butler shared that the set looked like a war zone. Serious injuries happened frequently, including an eye injury from a spear and a broken ankle during a fight scene. Although they used dull swords and spears, the metal was still dangerous, and chaos was every day during filming. Butler himself faced serious injuries. He managed to get through 300, but while filming Butterfly on a Wheel, things took a turn for the worse. During a car chase scene with Pierce Brosnan, Brosnan was supposed to brake hard on a rooftop, but didn't. Instead, he crashed Butler into a 3-foot wall with a Range Rover. Butler described the impact as a wrecking of his neck, which had already been strained from filming 300. He was also dealing with a pulled tendon in his arm, an injured hip flexor, and nerve damage in one leg. The crash worsened his condition, and these injuries still affect him today. This illustrates what actors endure when acting without enough time to recover. Surprisingly, the film 300 didn't use much fake blood. You might think the production needed buckets, but they only used about 2 gallons. Almost all of the gore was added digitally later. So while actors were getting hurt on set, little fake blood was used during filming. Ironically, the injuries were real, but the gore was fake. Gerard Butler didn't want to be just another action hero. After 300 became a massive hit in 2007, grossing over $456 million, he could have continued making action films. Instead, he surprised everyone by starring in P.S. I Love You, a romantic drama that made $156 million on a $30 million budget. Hollywood was stunned. Many expected him to stick to bloody battles, but he wanted to demonstrate his versatility. He kept switching genres, having already performed in musicals like The Phantom of the Opera, and then moving to raunchy comedies like The Ugly Truth, which earned over $200 million. However, the industry pulled him back into action roles, including starring in the Has Fallen series, which grossed over $500 million. Critics noted that he never entirely escaped the action hero label. Nevertheless, Butler proved his versatility by leading in various genres while keeping audiences engaged. Not everything went smoothly for Butler on the set of P.S. I Love You. A comedy scene turned dangerous when a metal clip from his suspenders flew off and struck Hilary Swank in the forehead, requiring her to go to the hospital. This incident halted production on the $30 million film while Swank recovered. Butler's career flourished despite these challenges, with his movies grossing $3.225 billion worldwide, surpassing stars like Tom Hardy and Jamie Foxx. He expanded his role in the industry by producing films like Law-Abiding Citizen and the Has Fallen series, which proved profitable. His voice role as Stoic in How to Train Your Dragon introduced him to family audiences. He continued this role through all 3 films and the live-action remake, which became his highest-grossing film at $519.1 million. Off-screen, Butler faced personal struggles, including a battle with alcohol and painkiller addiction. He quit drinking over 20 years ago, but checked into the Betty Ford Clinic in 2012 for painkillers after suffering a surfing accident that left him hospitalized. In 2017, he also endured a near-fatal incident involving bee venom therapy. In November 2018, the Woolsey fire destroyed Butler's Malibu home, leaving him with nothing but ashes. Since then, he has supported charities like Mary's Meals, which feeds 2 million children daily. Butler's love life has also been tumultuous, particularly in his on and off relationship with interior designer Morgan Brown. Although he once expressed a desire to settle down by age 50, at 55, he has yet to propose, and Morgan is reportedly growing tired of waiting.